Hey guys, welcome back. So this week I thought I would quickly touch on the idea of parallel processing and then how you can use that to turn one synth line into two really interesting, unique sounds which work together. So without further ado, let's get into the video. So here's a sample and hold style patch I've created to demo this technique. If you want to copy it, you can do so by pausing on each of the wavetable menus. Okay, so the basic principle is that we want to have a mix of dry signal and wet signal without taking away from each other. So if we just applied an echo effect and put it to 50%, we'd be taking 50% of the dry signal away. So to process our effects in tandem, first we need to create two chains for our sounds to flow through. A simple way to do this would be to group an effect and then duplicate it, removing the effect from one. So let's do that, cranking the echo up to 100%. Let's also get to naming these while we're at it. As you can hear, we now have two sounds, a dry and a wet chain. So that's the brief overview. Let's explore what we can do to turn this one synth sound into two completely separate elements which complement each other. I want to make this wet chain quite spaced out and trippy, so I'll first start with a reverb, while I'll unlink and unsync the left and right parameters, setting them really low at 4 and 5 milliseconds respectively. I'll use this opportunity to add some reverb as well. Finally, I'll disable the filter and add some stereo width to the sound. Next up, a delay. Less tweaking here. Bring the dry wet fully up and bring the reverb down to 21, disabling the filter. Next, my favourite, the trance gate pad, set to default. No changes needed here. And finally, for the wet chain, some saturation with a bit warmer preset. There you go, here's the wet signal, the dry signal, and both together. Now at this point, there's probably a bit too much going on. The frequencies are a bit busy and congested. So what can we do about that? Well, let's treat these two chains as if they were two different synths and EQ some of the unwanted frequencies to get them to work better together. For the dry signal, I want to use the high end, and for the wet signal, I want to keep the low frequencies. I'll also add a reverb to the high frequencies to give it some more space. Let's rename these channels for clarity, and there we have it. Two distinct elements from one synth line using parallel processing. Now here's before and after. So that's the video. I hope you guys enjoyed and learned something about parallel processing and why you would kind of want to keep 100% of your original dry sound whilst also adding in some other effects, kind of sitting in the background or maybe actually tweaking it so much that you've got your own separate different sounds to layer on top. So as I always say, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, helps the channel out. And as always, I'll catch you in the next one.